I think the president has a hands full.
He's the president. He has to have a handful.
He has the budgets to deal with as well.
I was going to move on now to the budget. I mean, it looks like there's finally some bright lights.
Yeah.
We did hear that he met with the Senate President and the Speaker of the House of Representatives
on Wednesday or so.
And in our 5th month in 2016, it looks like we might finally have a budget.
You know, it's better late than never. So that's the first thing we should look at. It's crippled the economy. People can't do business. Even investors are scared coming to Nigeria because the fact that there's no cash in the economy, everybody's complaining, even the ordinary man. But you know, the challenge I have, I wish I didn't have to say this here, but the reality is the people up there don't really feel what the impact of this budget passage is doing to us. That's why we're going back and forth, because it's like any other bill. The National Assembly passes the bill. You have a right to refuse assent, or you sign, and then you send a supplementary budget or an amendment, you know, to that. You know, so dragging it and sending it back and forth is wasting time. People's life, you know, businesses are going through a lot because of this. People's businesses, lives, properties, you know, investment is also being affected by this. So in the interest of Nigerian people, I think the government needs to address this. It's already 1 year in government, you understand? A budget needs to be put in place. This thing should have been planned way in advance. First was padded budget. Now we sent another one. The issues here, it was inflated and this and that. You know, yeah. We need to show that we really know what we're doing in this new administration.
It's a senator, I think, or a House of Representatives member, I can't remember now, but a member of the legislature did speak up this week and said he's been in the Senate for 5 years and not one budget has come without being padded. If that is a precedent now, yeah. Is it possible to break that cycle?
Yes, it is, but it might be gradual. It's always been, they've always done this. Remember El-Rufai came out many years ago and talked about the fact that it was being, you know, there was someone who was running for 50 million naira or something at that time. There was another minister of education who actually had to resign because of, you know, budget issues and, you know, bribery for budgets, for their ministry budget to be approved. So there's always been an issue with budget or the others. But for the interest of the common man, I think we need to prioritize budget. We shouldn't wait till November to be talking 2017 budget. Are they already sitting down now to ensure that this does not repeat itself next year? That's also what I'm thinking that should be done. Yes, you're dealing with this in one hand, but the budget obviously should be preparing for 2017 so that by January, you know, that is actually what's going to show that the government knows what it's doing. Now we should be discussing about the future budget, next year's budget.
It's okay to even start now, but for me, what it is why is it such a cumbersome back and forth situation? How can we stop that? Yes,
first, everybody needs to respect each other. The president has said this is what we want to spend. National Assembly has a right to say, I'm sorry, this is what I can approve, because otherwise there will be no need for budget defense. You come there and you come and say, this is what I have in my envelope, this is what I want to spend, this is what I need. And then they can say, no, now for now we can't give you that money because we don't think it's right. You know, so come next year. And then you take the budget, you can sign. If you have an issue with it, you send it back for amendment, or you send an amendment, supplementary budget or whatever it is. You can always do that. But at least sign this one. Let there be cash flow in the economy. Let this move. Respect each other. You know, it's not about Saraki. I don't think it has anything to do with that. They say, oh, this is about Saraki. I don't think it has anything to do with all that Saraki drama and all that. It's just everybody should respect each other and just put the interests of the people first. Stop fighting. Sign this thing, let it go ahead. If you have issues, you know, send an amendment by your supplementary budget and deal with it.
Let's move on now to the NLC. It's Workers' Day, and the issue of
56 and 90,000.
The increase in minimum wage has come up again. And we did hear the body say they wanted minimum wage increase of 56,000 naira. A faction did say something about 90,000 naira. That's more realistic. Most people have also said it's probably not a good idea. It's almost insensitive, seeing as Nigeria is going through tough times, and increasing salary has never really meant increasing a better life. What should we be talking about now? Is that the right thing to be talking about?
Because I think it's two-sided. Number one, it's minimum wage, meaning this is what the lowest person should be able to earn. I like to see earning, you know, jumbo salaries and jumbo pays. Yeah, the presidency has cut down budget, but still a lot of allowances. There are travel allowances and concessions. There's still a lot of money that are being paid, ESTA codes and all that. A common man. The government is about the common man. I think when we forget the reality of why we actually have a government, then we forget everything. It's about the people. All the oils we have, the agriculture is about the common man. So, but the other challenge we have is that the government, he is the biggest employer in our economy. So the government cannot even afford to pay everybody because largely anybody's looking for a job now. Give me a job in the police, in the military. Everybody is looking for them to somebody to pass their name or their CV. So they'll come to you, the minister of this, say, okay, senators, governors, put your cousin on the list. That has to stop. So I'm happy that this current budget has provision, I think about 50 billion or so, for entrepreneurship and all that. When we begin to encourage the new generations to go into enterprise, we pull down the load and the weight from civil service and public service, and people can begin to, you know, earn for themselves. But now we're faced with this 90,000 and 60,000. The reality is, it still has to be improved. 18,000 minimum, 19,000 minimum wage. Even a copper hands 19,800. It's not.
But can the government afford it?
The government has always been able to afford a lot of other things. Life and welfare of the common man is one of the priorities of the government. We're able to provide food and shelter, security for the citizens. You know, they're finding money to do other things. They can't find money to pay civil servant. It's not just about even paying civil servant. It's also about making civil service effective to generate revenue for the government. You hear NPA brings in $80 billion naira into investment in 3 months. This ministry brought in so and so million in 5 months and all that. So there's some form of funding going somewhere. Yes, it's not being dispersed. But no matter what, government needs to review. 18,000 is really ridiculous. What can you pay? You know how much I fill my car in a week? You know, to buy fuel now in Nigeria, it's 200 naira a liter. Some places 150, some places 120. You will spend 18,000 in one with Ibuka. You spend the 20,000.
This is not about me, but thank you very much. Thank you very much, Daya, for being here today. It was a pleasure. Thanks for your insights. So when we come back, we're going to be talking more about Workers' Day and all of the things around that. Please stay with us.